provide support in terms of encouraging family activities with supporting music education. So this past year, we provided funds to offset the cost for families to participate in a concert at the Illinois Sonic in February that about 100 of our families participated in. It was a big hit, and we're looking to continue that, as well as other receptions that we do throughout the year. And there will be one this evening after this at Trim, so hope you join us and some fellowship after we see the kids' great work this evening. So with that, in the program this evening, on the last page, there will be a flyer promoting the Band Orchestra Boosters. I hope you take a look at that. Our email is there, and I hope that you'll reach out and let us know if you'd like to participate. We have monthly meetings throughout the school year. We'd love for you to get involved. We actually have 2 open positions that we're looking to fill. The most important is our treasurer, so if anybody's good with numbers and would participate, please let us know, and we would love for you to get involved. And so with that, I'll turn it back over to Mr. Adams. Thanks so much for being here, and we're looking forward to the concert.
Good evening and welcome. My name is Doug Adams. I'm one of the band directors at Hickory Creek in Chelsea. Joining me tonight are Allison Bachman and Shannon Shanahan. Again, have the opportunity, please do scan the QR codes posted around the gym so you can see tonight's program. Not only will this allow you to follow along with the musical selections, but we also have some great pictures from this year and some very moving messages for our outgoing years. Tonight's program serves 2 major purposes. It celebrates a year of astounding accomplishments, hallway concerts, parades, dare graduation, jazz band performances at Fish Fries, symphonic band trips to Lincoln Way, Star Wars music with the Illinois Philharmonic, A Festival, the IGSMA Solo and Ensemble Contest, roller skating parties, lingual bounce houses, and of course lots and lots of cookies. But we're looking forward. Our 5th graders are seeing what awaits them here at the Hickory Creek Band Program. Our 6th graders are preparing to have younger students looking up to them. 7th graders are to the top spots and run the show, and our 8th graders are ready to move on and enter high school. So it's a bittersweet evening in a lot of ways. Interspersed with our music, we'll be handing out a number of awards to honor those finishing their time with us. If there's one thing that our kids love more than plaques and trophies, it's cold hard cash. So I'll start this evening by informing the 8th grade family, who are amazingly supportive boosters, you all have some money coming your way. If you're wrapping up your career at the end of this year, you will be receiving $50 each. Please spend what you see fit. And for those of you continuing on to high school music, you will be receiving $100 each. Please enjoy. Details will be coming to our boosters via email, so please hang tight until then, but make sure you get these gifts. We want you to have them. We're honored by the time you've given us, and we want very much to give back. With that said, let's rewind a bit. We're going to start this evening with our Chelsea Band. These are our youngest musicians, but they're some of our hardest workers. I know I speak for all the directors when I say we cannot wait to bring you the Hickory program and show you all that we have to offer you. When you hear the incredible 8th graders, please realize that they started exactly like this. In fact, they started with many of these same pieces. So, here are 3 5th grade classics, Minor, Rio Bravo, and of course, the theme from Star Wars. here and remove some percussion equipment. And we're moving on to our symphonic band. This band meets 2 mornings a week and is sort of our central ensemble here at Hickory Creek. This is the group we all play in when we start to branch out into this. This has been a particularly good year for this group. We've made extra to folks with techniques and skills, and the result is nothing short of amazing. We have 3 selections tonight, each in a totally different style. First up is a Scottish fiddle, which is based on a folk song named Aiken. There we go. That was a good timing to cover my own.
I didn't graduate. I got pro. No, I got A. What? Oh. I like keeping started. You guys are inspired.
Don't.
24 hours. Bye. Bye. You can't actually teach you for 24 hours. I like to do that to people. I like that.
Everything 24 hours. You just keep someone who's watching.
Yeah. No. He can watch the stream, but that's it.
Oh, wait, he can watch the stream.
But, and then he's broken, and then he's there for 24 hours. Perfect. Oh, God. Check him
Alright, our next selection is also a folk song, and although this one is closer to home, it's American. It's What's Her Otherwise Song. written by Carol Griffin Chambers. She said this piece was inspired by the great film music that she grew up with, and it's meant to evoke images of castles, dragons, and mythical battles. This one gives us a chance to work on some interesting time changes, so after a quick percussion switch, we're on top of, this is Night Fury. All right, next up is our Wind Symphony, which is made up of our 7th and 8th graders and select 6th graders, and which are Thursday mornings. When we be playing a fantastic piece by Gerard Hall, which is titled The Country Club Stomp. If you notice the sort of New Orleans flavor in this piece, you're not wrong at all. The published description also explains that this piece is, quote, a celebration of music, life, and love. Elements of jazz occur throughout, and there is a strong reference to African circle dances from which this music evolved. We've had a ton of fun working on this piece this year. It's really a high school level music, and our students have been part. So, after a quick switch here, this is the Country Club Stomp. we're moving into our jazz band setup. While we do that, I'm going to talk a little bit more about our 8th graders. Ron and I started brain cells last fall saying this is a really special group of 8th graders. It's going to be hard to say goodbye to them. And we were right. Even though these kids have a month left, I believe, we're already beginning to have trouble. This 8th grade class has been amazing, everyone. So it seems like we're handing out a lot of awards this year. Yes, we are. They've earned them. And if the 8th graders can hear me, I'd like to start. This year's award is going to a record of 6 kids. 6 kids who got the dozens of early rehearsals, who learned their parts, who helped their sections, and who went above and beyond to show younger students how to learn. So, if I can ask all the band members to just freeze with what you're doing for 1 second, I'm going to announce the 6 recipients of this year's Director's Award. If you please come down, you will receive your awards at the band practice. If you're going to come give me a hand, you can do that. So, in no particular order, the 6 awards go to Lucy Damasino. Come on down. Danielle Henson. Come on down. Nathan Jeku. Come on down. Continue on, Jimmy Morrison. Come on down, Jimmy. And also James Page. That's our Director's Award. We have more coming, so stay tuned. But first, I want you to get ready for some more music. This is our jazz band, which I think is mostly set up now. We've got to make a quick change tonight. Our director of this concert is going to be Rua, Funky Town.
No, that is a jazz band, dude. That is a jazz band. Yeah, I thought that was a jazz band. It's a band.
Fuck.
The camera.
By 80k seconds ago. Count seconds.
All right, that was Funky Town, which was actually led by our bass trombone player, Ron. Ron, give everyone a wave. Funky Town featured Kristen on drums, so let's give it up one more time for Kristen. And all of our backing players together. Okay, at this time, we want to acknowledge the winners of the Louis Armstrong Award for Jazz. Louis Armstrong is one of the most influential jazz musicians of his time. He is most well known for his cornet playing, so it's only fitting that our first recipient of this award is one of our 8th grade trumpet players. Brendan has been one of our leaders in the trumpet section this year. We're extremely impressed with his growth as a musician and how willing he was to take on any challenge, like managing 3 youths for one concert. So let's give it up for Brendan. All right, I'm going to give up to our next winner, but our next Louis Armstrong Award for Jazz winner is one of our other 8th grade trumpet players, Allie Chewy. Allie is my first this year, and we are so grateful that she joined our band family. She definitely made an impact on our younger kids, and it sounds crazy, but I know we're going to be finding tiny babies around the band room for all of next year, so give it up one more time for Allie. Like I said earlier, we've had such an awesome 8th grade class, so we're actually going to recognize 2 more students for our Louis Armstrong Award. And this 8th grade trombone player has completely blown us away with her progress, especially her awesome questions, excellent high notes. Mackenzie, we can't wait to hear how you continue to improve on your trombone playing. And we are going to require you back to give us a high note demonstration in like a year, because I know it's going to be crazy. So one more time for Mackenzie. All right, and then you actually are about to hear from our final Louis Armstrong Award for Jazz winner. Ron has started his 5th grade year in alto sax. And since he went from the saxophone, he transitioned to trombone and now bass trombone. And we're going to remember him for his loud playing and very fearless approach. So one more time for Ron. All right, the next jazz track you're going to hear is a classic called Tenor Madness. Something that's common in jazz but kind of unique to other kinds of music is soloing. And for this chart, we asked all the groups who wanted to solo, and we were just blown away by the response here. So when I call your name, give everyone kind of a wave. But Tenor Madness is going to feature in this order: Caroline, Michaela, Ellery, Gabe, Aiden, Dante, Nora, Rue, Bryn, and Lou. We're also going to hear from Katie on her debut drum set performance. She just started and is doing awesome. And some of you caught on to this, but after you hear clap briefly to support the musician. So here is Tenor Madness. John, Caroline, Michaela, Ellery, Dave, Aiden, Dr. Nora, Ruth, Britton, Luke, and Katie. One more round of applause for all of our children. All right, our other 8th grade award we do for jazz is the Woody Herman Award. Woody Herman was an American jazz clarinetist, saxophonist, and we're actually going to start off the Woody Herman Award by recognizing one of our outstanding 8th grade saxophonists, Luke. Luke has been a member of our jazz band since his 6th grade year and has been featured prominently since then. If you've been to a concert before, you've heard him solo, and you've already heard him solo twice tonight, and there's still more to come. So one more time, give it up for Luke. Our next of the Woody Herman Award is another woman. While flutes are not typically found in a standard jazz instrumentation, it would be hard to imagine our band without any. Ellery Johnson has been an author member of our jazz, another one of our fearless soloists that she's joined. And I'm going to go through here. Even though she's a great jazz performer, I'm going to remember her the most for using her flute as a baton and with great bands. This is Ellery. All right, our next Woody Herman Award for Jazz recipient is one of our very hardworking percussionists. I know you've seen her around here and everywhere for symphonic band, and symphony, and 5th grade band. And tonight you've got to hear her solo on vibes. So please give it up for Caroline Stephenson. All right, we have one more jazz award to be about tonight, and this is actually for another newer student in our program, but he's made a huge impact on all of us. Kristen has been an essential part of our band program this year. You heard him playing on Country Club and Funky Town, and we actually tried to bribe his teachers to fail him so he could stay another year, but they said no, so unfortunately he's going to be leaving us. But Tristan, we were able to spend her 8th grade year with us. So one more time. All right, our final piece of the night is Pass the Hot Sauce. And I'll be honest with all of you, when I first passed this out, I didn't think we'd be performing it at the concert. This is one of the most challenging jazz charts we've attempted in the past couple of years. But luckily, all of these students are very smart and very hardworking, and we managed to learn it in time concert. We are going to hear from Luke and Noah on the solos, so here's Hot Sauce.
still have a couple more awards and one or two little treats left. First, we have our biggest award for the evening. It is the Quincy Jones Award. Quincy Jones was a consummate musician who was classically trained. He wrote, arranged, and produced for Sinatra, orchestral music for Spielberg, and pop tunes for Michael Jackson. So we wanted to give this award to two of our talented students. The first student joined us as a percussionist in 5th grade. In 6th grade, she found herself dealing with a sports injury that gave her a little spare time. She asked me where she could get a trumpet. Being a good, responsible band keeper, we really don't change instruments because that sets you back to the beginner level and you come so far. No, she says, I don't want to change instruments. I just want to learn a little trumpet so I can see what the other instruments do when I play percussion with them. That's a pretty amazing statement from a pretty amazing student. So our first Quincy Jones Award goes to Katie Head. Our second Quincy Jones Award is a little different. The student actually did start on trumpet, and it was a struggle. I could see him wanting to be great, but it was a tough match. He knew that if you don't switch an instrument here, so he didn't ask. He's polite and he follows rules. But I could see the frustration in his eyes. So I said to him, hey, if we could set you up with something, maybe you'd like to try the baritone. And he responded, like many musicians do, what the heck is a baritone? Nevertheless, we made the connections and it worked. They worked and worked and worked. If we ever give an award for the most improved musician, we're going to have to name it after this kid. His playing is legendary around here, despite being a low brass player and hitting notes so high that trumpets get jealous. Our second award goes to Cage.
Oh. Are you Get up!
Really not cut out for show business. Finally, it's time to give our Bernstein Award. This is our highest award, and the student receiving this award tonight is a tough act to follow. In band, he plays alto sax, and tenor sax, and oh yeah, bari sax. He's twice been named to the Illinois Music Educators District Festival Band. He's repeatedly received top scores in solo and ensemble contests. When he's not with us, he also plays guitar, and he sings, and he dances, and he'll be in the musical in another couple of weeks. He's such a talented and humble kid that when he got precious coffee on the floor one morning, I didn't even violently assault him. So, it gives me great honor to present this year's Leonard Bernstein Award to Noah Gasparet. You may be exploring the program might have noticed something unusual. For the first time in our history, we've chosen to give every 8th grader an award this year. They are all incredible kids, and we will be honored to have their names on our walls from here on out. 8th graders, could you please all stand? With a final musical surprise to wrap things up, and after this, we invite you to please all head down to the hall to our cafeteria where our boosters have supplied cookies for everyone in attendance. But first, some of you might know this music for the video game Undertale. Here is from Megalo.